Hi, I am Dr. Vishal. I am a surgeon and welcome to a brand new video on my channel. So, as a surgeon, most of my time is spent in the operation theatre seeing patients, doing procedures. Over a past year or so, I have been fascinated by making YouTube videos, and there are a couple of things that I learned while making these videos which also trickled down into my daily life and have made my communication skills a bit better. So today I'm going to share with you a roundup of all these little tips that I learned over a period of past year or so over another channel which I run where I give free medical advice. You can check that out later. All those tips have helped me become a more effective communicator, or so I wish to believe. So the first thing that I learned is that you have to smile and speak in front of the camera. Now, making YouTube videos is quite a lonely hobby per se. As you can see, most of the time is spent speaking to basically no one. Like, I'm speaking to a camera which is a black box and a lens and a mirror, and essentially I can just see myself talking. So it is very difficult to sound and look natural when you're talking in front of the camera. One of the tricks that I learned is that if you think of a happy thought, you can start smiling. Some people use music to make themselves sound cheerful, look cheerful, and when you smile and talk, it looks much more natural. So this is something which also trickled into my daily life because I meet a lot of patients who are in pain, who are sad, who are depressed, and when you smile and talk to them, suddenly the whole room cheers up, they become more friendly, they feel better, and then they start communicating you in a much effective way, and the treatment goes much more smoothly. So thanks to this hobby of mine that I picked up, now I have started to learn new things which help me speak better to my patients and will hopefully help you also in daily life. The next thing that I picked up is how to explain things properly in the shortest amount of time. So YouTube is a platform where attention of every second counts, and the easier it is for me to convey my ideas to you in the clearest, shortest possible time, the better it is for my videos and the better it is for you as a viewer to understand what I'm trying to say. Now, this is another habit which trickled into my daily life also. I observed that after while making these videos, I picked up the habit of explaining everything properly on a daily basis again to my patients. If I explain things properly in the shortest amount of time with the help of diagrams and with the help of gestures, patients understand their things much better, and the moment they understand these things, you can see their face light up, so they suddenly know what is happening with their body. And these days, unfortunately, most of the people are more aware about how the world works, how their cell phones work, how their car works, and they have hardly any idea of how their body works. Add some diseases and complications to it and people are absolutely clueless about what is happening to their body. So as a doctor, if I can make them understand things in the most precise manner and tell them that what is happening to them, sometimes medicines don't work as effectively as good explanation and counseling does. So the next thing that I observed happening since the beginning of this YouTube fascination is that I kind of started to develop a personality. What I mean is that overall, once you start to communicate clearly in a concise manner that people can understand, you automatically develop confidence. And I guess that in a nutshell is what people mean by having a personality. It means that having confidence to talk to strangers, to talk to people, and sound smart, intelligent, because you can put your ideas and thoughts together and convey it in such a way that they make sense. Even if you're not obsessed by making YouTube videos like I am, but you can still practice these things, like talking in the mirror or maybe talking in front of the camera for the heck of it, so that you can develop a little bit more confidence, and it helps you in daily life in talking to people. Sloppy videos look shabby and make you look silly. So you should not make sloppy, silly, shabby, stupid videos. You can try that again whenever you're free. But this is what I mean by having a good command over the way you speak and how it sounds clearly. A lot of people struggle with public speaking per se because they think they don't understand the language well, they cannot come up with words properly. Of course, that happens with me also, but once you take the responsibility of recording stuff on the camera and showing it to people, I think you take extra efforts to find out how words sound so that you can say them correctly, and over a period of time it becomes a habit that all these mistakes which you used to do are corrected because you have done the exercise of finding the right way of sounding words so many times that you can try speaking to yourself, record it, maybe listen to it, and then if there are mistakes you can correct that, become an overall more clear sounding person. So what actually started happening is that after making a bunch of videos, I observed that I am running out of ideas. So as always, I googled how can people come up with ideas for years and years, and they continue making videos, writing blog posts and so on and so forth. And one of the tips that really hit home was to write everything down. Now it may sound tedious, but it is really helpful in real life also. So the idea is that whatever thoughts come to your mind, whichever you find useful, you can write them down somewhere. You can write them down on a board, you can write them down on a piece of pen or paper, you can write them down in your hand, you can write them down on your forearm, the old-fashioned way, as in Hindi movies they used to show. So once I started to get into the habit of writing things down, another upside that I noticed is that I get more clarity of thought. I started writing not just my thoughts and ideas, which will later on turn into videos and blog posts and topics for talking about, but I also started writing, jotting down points as I was speaking to somebody. So whenever somebody is pitching you something, or maybe he's trying to make you understand something, or you are negotiating something with a person, it is always a good idea to have a pen and paper handy and start jotting down whatever they are trying to say. It also makes them realize that you are giving them keen attention, and they cannot go around confusing you in the web of words and ideas and eventually sell you something which you never wanted to buy. It also helps in negotiating with them, because once you have written something down in front of them, they cannot take their words back. So that is another little trick, little habit that I picked up after making so many videos. Now YouTube is a world where opinion and ideas matter. People have come here to listen to your idea, your story, your opinion, your life, and your take on the thoughts and the events that are happening around the world. So once you have learned how to organize your thoughts, how to speak properly, how to write them down, how to put them across in a video or in a blog post or in whichever way, you overall become a person who is more intelligent, well-read and more opinionated. Essentially, you start to have a voice, and this also trickles down into your daily life. It definitely did trickle down into my life. So whenever I was talking to somebody, because of some video which I had made, because I had done research for it, now I was overall a well-read person, and that enhanced my personality, that made people remember me in a much better way, is what I've observed. So that is something that I would again, as always, encourage you to try as soon as possible. And not just making videos, but I used videos as an excuse to develop so many things. You can have your own excuses for reading more books, watching more videos, watching more documentaries, keeping a track of the current events. Then overall, it definitely does make a difference. It does give you a voice, and it does give you an identity. Now, one of the things that I would always wonder when I would watch other YouTube videos is that how come people are always happy, always cheerful, there is always sunshine in their life. And after a little bit of reading and digging deeper, when YouTubers started talking about how they make their videos, I realized that it is their camera face or their vlog face that we see most of the time. Very less of what happens on the camera these days is purely coincidental. Most of it is planned, most of it is scripted. So what I learned from that exercise is how to put your game face on. Now in real life, what happens is that you are not always upbeat. Sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're tired, sometimes you're angry. Now that is something which happens in front of the camera all the time. And after making so many videos, I realized that even though I am tired, it's 11 in the night, I have had a really long day, I started at 6 a.m. but still I can manage to come up with a reasonably cheerful demeanor and way of talking, way of communicating. So the point being that over the course of making these YouTube videos, I realized what exactly is game face, as they say it. You forget everything and you focus on the task at hand and do whatever is necessary to get the task done. So thank you for bearing with my silly internet rambling, and this was a roundup of all the tips and tricks that I learned over the past year or so making so many YouTube videos, which made my daily life a lot better. So I thought it'd be worthwhile sharing it with you guys. If you like the video, then share it with your friends, your family, over social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, and I will see you in the next video.